Forgiveness, as I said, is essentially it's an act that needs only one person. You don't need to actually solve anything with anyone else. It's something that you can do inside yourself. And once you're able to forgive the other person, which is, as I said, a realization that there's nothing to forgive in the first place, what should happen, a litmus test to really check, if you've actually forgiven or if you're just deluding yourself that you did forgive, is if you notice that that story has disappeared from your brain, that is proof that you've actually forgiven the person. The next thing that I want to share with you is that forgiveness is a decision that you make. I'll emphasize that you make, that sets you free. It has nothing to do with other people. It's something that you are able to do by yourself. It's a decision that you make right now. And it sets you free essentially from your own thought loops. Because the absence of that is when you have this incessant pool of thoughts, which are just going again and again, churning in your mind. You're like thinking about the same thing, same person, same situation, same thing, like, constantly it is just going again and again. What happens is there is a huge amount of your energy which is being drained, which is being lost. Your presence is being lost, your energy is being drained. So when you make that decision and you set yourself free, you liberate a huge amount of energy that you can now use for other constructive, productive activities. Like by dealing with difficult situations, your character develops and you become a person who is capable of handling hardships in life, who is capable of handling difficult situations in life. And when you stop looking at your problems as problems and you start looking at it as training, as something that is strengthening your character, then you can genuinely feel grateful for that. First thing, realize that, recognize it, see it as truth. And once you do that, and once you realize that you can send love and acceptance and compassion to that person, and once you inculcate the habit of doing this consistently, when you consistently start sending love and compassion to every past version of you, someday you will have a very intense, deep realization that there are future versions of you who are in this moment sending love and compassion to you right now. That I want to introduce you to this idea that, well, you're actually most likely addicted to certain emotions. As absurd as this may be, this is actually the truth. So what happens is, like, some unpleasant event happens, like, somebody said something, you got angry, you got irritated, you got jealous, you whatever, you went into a certain emotion, and now you went into that emotion enough number of times that you ended up creating a whole pattern inside you where that emotion gives you stimulation. It's like your coffee. What does coffee do to you? Coffee gives you stimulation. Like you drink some coffee and you wake up, you're like energized. And now what you do is you go into the emotion of anger, you go into the emotion of hatred, you go into the emotion of irritation, aggression towards somebody, and that aggression stimulates you and you're addicted to that stimulation. And now here's the kicker. When you realize that your thoughts are just justifying your current emotional state, and if you're addicted to certain emotions, then you're just going to have this barrage of thoughts that will absolutely convince you that what you're feeling is legitimate and you're okay to feel the way you're feeling. And when you're able to free yourself from that, Like when you're able to recognize this, when you're able to see that, it's like I'm addicted to negative emotions just the way people are addicted to coffee. So with that, I'm going to invite Kartika to share some ideas with you guys from her experiences as well.